This video is going to show Caesar de Bello Gallico, Book 5, Chapter 38. You'll note that Sabinus and Coda have officially been defeated. They are done, and they were, if we're looking at this map, right there. Not that far away from Cicero, who I've circled in blue there. So this chapter is largely going to be about Ambiorix, because he is going to try to persuade the Nervi, these guys right here, right by Cicero, to help him with this rebellion that is taking place in Belgica, the land of the Belgians. And this is going to be how he's going to persuade Nervi to join in and attack Cicero's camp. So he's already got Sabinus and Coda defeated. Now he's going to go after Cicero. And remember, the troops that got out of Sabinus and Coda's massacre went down here to Labiena. So Cicero doesn't yet have an idea of what's going on. He will. But I guess with that in mind, we should get started on this chapter. Alright, getting started, we have Hac Victoria sublatus ambiorix statim cum equitatu in aduatokos, qui erant eius regno finitime proficiscitur. Neque noctem, neque diem intermittit, peditatum quae sese subsequi ubet. Now here we begin with two ablatives here. Hac Victoria, those are both definitely ablatives. Sublatus being a participle tells you that that's going to be a participial clause, and with it being nominative, it goes with ambiorix. Statim's an adverb. Cum equitatu, we're going to bracket as a preposition. Same thing with in aduatukos. And then we have qui erant eius regno finitimi as a nice relative clause modifying the aduatuki. And then proficiscitur is our main verb with ambiorix as our subject up here. And then we have neque noctem, neque diem. Neque means neither nor, just like et means both and. And then the noctem and diem are both time words in the accusative. So these are time duration. Okay. Intermittent, being your verb there, is the verb that you have to kind of assume ambiorix is doing after the proficiscitur. So he's your subject again of this verb. Peditatum quae sese subsequi ubet. And one more clause. The quae here then connects ubet and intermittent. And there are clauses subsequently. Note that ubet takes an ACI. So there you go, with subsequi being the infinitive and peditatum being the accusative subject. With these things in mind, let us translate. Immediately, ambiorix, having been lifted up by this victory, lifted up probably in spirit, set out with his cavalry into the land of the Aduatuki, who were bordering to his kingdom, or who were neighbors to his kingdom. He stops neither during the day nor night, and he orders that the infantry follow him. All right. So note that he doesn't stop day or night. He's going to do an all day and night trip without stopping to get to the Aduatuki, and he's then going to also cross into the Nervi and talk to them. So we'll move on now. All right, we have re demonstrata aduatucisque concitatis posterodie in nervios pervenit hortaturque ne sui in perpetuum liberandi atque uciscendi Romanos per eis quas acceperent injuriis occasionem dimittant. So first of all, we have an ablative absolute here. All right, re and demonstrata, both definitely ablative, demonstrata being the participle, re being a fifth declension ablative. Aduatucis actually also goes with concitatis as another ablative absolute. Postero die, postero goes to die, and here we have an ablative of time. In nervios, that's going to be a locational thing. Remember the people's names, just like we saw in the last passage, actually, has to do with their land, not you're not going into the people themselves, but where the people live. And here we have pervenit as our verb. Hortatur, another verb, but note it's another clause because que is connecting clauses, pervenit and hortatur. Now we have ne afterwards. Now you can already tell what kind of clause ne is because hortatur is right here. So we're thinking definitely indirect command. Why? Because hortor means to urge, and urging has bossy sense to it. So that's your bossy word. All right, sui. Sui means their own guys. In perpetuum is a preposition. And then liberandi with an nd. Well, we have this I that agrees with sui, so we're going to say that's a gerundive. Atque uliscendi. Now, uliscendi is odd because it looks like it is going to be a gerund. It actually is going to be a gerund. However, it's a gerund that has a direct object. This isn't normal because usually gerundives just kind of modify something and it sounds like a direct object. But here we have a gerund, and Romanos is kind of the direct object of that gerund, oddly enough. Okay, eis goes with injuriis, and then inside of that we have quas acciperent. This is a case where you get adjective and a noun that comes later on, sandwiching something that goes with it as well. So quas, its antecedent, is kind of eis injuriis. Because he's surrounding it, that tells you that that's its antecedent. And then we have, of course, occasionem dimittant. So listen carefully when I translate this for the, hang on, sorry, we gotta end our ne clause. Listen carefully for the gerund and gerundive in the middle. The gerundive, liberandi sui, shouldn't be that hard to hear, but uliscendi, Romanos, that's going to sound like a gerund, but it's actually a gerundive with a direct object here. It's very weird. But anyway, here we go with the translation. With this thing having been shown, and with the aduatuci having been excited, the next day he came in the land of the Nervi, into the land of the Nervi, and urges that they not let go the opportunity of freeing themselves forever. In perpetuum does not mean into eternity as much as, well, I mean it does, but in English we don't really say that, so forever will suffice. If you want to say into eternity, have fun. Freeing themselves into eternity. And the opportunity of punishing the Romans for these injustices which they have received. Note that The injustices is the antecedent of the quas here, and then the subject of archiparent is going to be the nervi, the Gauls. All right. So, moving on. All right, short one here. Interfectos esse legatos duos magnam quae partem exercitus interisse demonstrat. All right, so here we start off with an OS ending and ESSE, so interfectos esse is an infinitive. Oh, excuse me. Legatos duos is our accusative, magnam partem another accusative, and exercitus. Hang on, I'm sorry, I'm going to start labeling stuff. This is an infinitive. Legatos duos, that agrees. These are accusative. Magnum agrees with partem. Que here, it looks like it's connecting two accusatives. It's actually connecting two whole clauses when we find out that these are ACIs. So there you go. The que is connecting two ACI clauses or indirect statements. All right. Exercitus. Exercitus is fourth declension, which means that US ending is actually genitive. There's no room in an ACI for a nominative. Accusative plural wouldn't have much use either. So the genitive is the best bet here. And of course we have demonstrat as our verb. And this is our only part of the main clause, which means we have to gap in ambiorix. All right. So quite simply, we have he shows that 2 legates have been killed and a great part of the army had perished. Nope, not has perished. My apologies. Now, to show is the technical, literal definition for demonstrat. You can also say he told them that these things happen. I don't know how he would show that, but show is really what demonstro means, demonstrare, so that's what we're going with here. I think that you can easily get away with saying he told them. Anyway, let's move on. All right, nihil esse negoti subito pressam legionem quae cum cicerone hiemit interfici. Se ad eam rem prophetetur auditorum. All right, here we have nihil being an accusative. It's usually either accusative or nominative. Here we have an accusative. We know that because esse is infinitive, and thus it's going to be part of an ACI clause. And then we have negoti, which is genitive, and here the genitive is actually going to modify the nihil here, nothing of a difficulty. Now remember, negotium can also mean business. It can mean any kind of struggle, though. It has to do with using your time not for leisure, and difficulties are definitely not leisure. Subito oppressam is a participial clause. This oppressam is a participle. I'm going to write that a little neater. Okay, it's a perfect passive participle, P. And it modifies legionem, so that clause kind of goes there. Legionem is, of course, our accusative. Quae is going to start a clause. Cum cicerone is a preposition, and our clause ends at our verb. And then we have interfici, showing that we have another infinitive, telling us that legionem is probably in an ACI with interfici. Anyway, the initial ACI up here So nihil esse negoti. I'm not going to bracket it off because it's simply continuing the indirect statement from before. He's still talking to the nervi. So I guess you can say he's gapping in perhaps that demonstro from before. All right. Then we have se ad eam rem profitetur auditorum. Okay. So here we actually are away from ACI again. And we simply just have se as an accusative, ad eam rem as a preposition. Profitetur with these accusatives must be deponent. We know that because it's a finite verb, and se and auditorium are both accusative, meaning that there's no room for an accusative in a passive verb, so it must be deponent because it has to have a direct object. And you'll note that se and auditorium are both accusative, which means you're going to have some kind of factative sentence here, which means that something is something else as it's the direct object. So, for example, you can call somebody something else, but it's basically giving another title for the same person. So to wrap this up, the accusatives here are going to be the same entity in the world with a different name, and you'll kind of see how it's translated. It's not that bad. But anyway, the translation goes something like this: that there is nothing of difficulty in that the legion, which winters with Cicero, having been assaulted suddenly, be killed. He declares himself an assistant for this thing. He declares himself an assistant for this thing means he's willing to help. He's telling the nervi, I will help you. I'm declaring myself an assistant for this thing. Yes, so Ambiorix is going to help the nervi try to take out Cicero. Facile hacotatione nerviis persuadet. Pretty short. Facile is an adverb. Hoc goes with the ratione. Nerviis is dative because it's an animate object, but also because persuadet takes a dative. So we know that that's true. Remember, persuadet is something where you persuade a person in the dative to do something. So the dative are the nervi here, and of course our gapped subject is still Ambiorix. All right, so here we have easily, he persuades the nervi with this speech. So the nervi are on board. They're going to attack Cicero. Stay tuned. Till next time.